Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this new episode of Soulier Talk. Today is going to be a special edition, and I have immediately a disclaimer. This is not a promotional video, even though I'm going to talk mainly and exclusively about my books. When I say it's not a promotional video, I'm not joking. I'm doing this specific video because I received so many messages from you asking us about my books, because there's some confusion around the different editions. I had the luck so far to publish 3 books. The Parisian Gentleman, my first book, The Italian Gentleman, my second book, and Soulier, in French means shoes, in English, my third book. But I've been blessed with a lot of success with these books. All these books, specifically the 2 first ones, of course, has been republished many times in many different versions, and some people get a little bit confused about what version to buy, the original version, the compact version, the translated version, the second version. So I just want to clarify. It's going to take a few minutes so that you understand which book will be to your liking and which one you want or not to acquire. And let's start with the first book that I wrote in 2014 and was published in 2015 by the great publisher from London, Thames and Hudson. And that's my first book. This is The Parisian Gentleman. So it was kind of natural for me to give the title The Parisian Gentleman to my first book. Why? Because, as you know, I created this blog, and with the help of my wife, Sonia, and my son, Greg, back in 2009, and Sonia arrived in 2011 in the team. And so the blog name was Parisian Gentleman. So it was quite natural for me to write a book about the Parisian style. So inside this book, you find my take, my study about Parisian style, what it means in terms of bespoke tailoring, in terms of shoemaking, in terms of shirt making, but also accessories and even perfumes. So inside this book, you have interesting, I hope, chapters about, Berluti, for example. I see it here, and this is Vuitton, the bespoke trunk maker, and then you have Guerlain here, the perfume. Anyway, this is, you have Cifonelli and Count de Luca and Francesco Smalto and Arnis, and a lot of the people who are, in my opinion, the founders of the Parisian style. And with this book, what I wanted to do is to right a wrong. Because everybody is talking about Paris. When they talk about Paris, they spoke about haute couture. They speak about Christian Dior, Yves Saint Laurent, or Mademoiselle Chanel, or all these kind of enormous names. But they are mainly people who created the fashion and the most beautiful outfits, but for women. So Paris is still well known around the world, and I guess will be forever known around the world, that's my hope, for women's fashion. But there was another part of our heritage that was totally unknown to the people. That was the contribution of Paris and France to the men's style. And the names that are in this book are not as well known as Christian Dior or Yves Saint Laurent, but are very important in our world, like Lorenzo Cifonelli, like Marc de Luca, like Mr. Colban from Charvet, for example, like Thierry Vasseur, the nose of Guerlain. People like that, maybe Pierre Cortet for shoes, or Mr. Aubercy. All these people have been very important to develop the French flair, the Parisian style, and that this book is an homage to these artisans. So, in terms of edition, to clarify, that's the original one, published by Thames and Hudson in England for the world in 2015 in English. Then we had, I don't have it here, in 2016, I guess, the year after, or 17, I don't really remember, a French edition published by my friend Armand de Saint-Sauveur in France. As far as I know, same size, same everything, except the cover is slightly different. I'm going to show you on the screen. But published by my friend Armand de Saint-Sauveur. Hello Armand, I salute you because you're a great publisher. As far as I know, when I'm recording this video, I can tell you only, I think he still have like 50 copies, maybe 30 copies, so it's going to be pretty much sold out. And this edition, also the plain, the original edition in the world is pretty much sold out around the world. You can find probably a few copies here and there, in different countries on Amazon or in bookstores. But if you really want to have the original edition, I don't say it's becoming a collector, but it's going to be sold out forever. Why? Because a few years ago, not a few years ago, actually last year, my publisher decided to do a re-edition of the book, but in a smaller edition. I don't have it here. I'm going to show it on the screen for you. It's a smaller edition because this first edition was a beautiful book, but it was heavy. 3.2 kilos, so I don't know how it translates in pounds, maybe 6 pounds, a little bit more than 6 pounds. So probably it was impossible to carry it with you. Even me, I'm a writer. Sometimes I go outside, I do lectures, I do conferences around the world, and I can't carry my book. Why? Because when you have a book, you carry like 3 or 4 books. 3 or 4 books, immediately I have to pay more in luggage because no airlines will allow me to carry like 20 pounds or 30 pounds or 40 pounds of books. So that was a good idea. To be honest with you, I was not really enthusiastic about the fact to reduce the size of the book while being exactly the same content. And that's what I want you to understand. The compact edition of the Parisian Gentleman in English is exactly the same content as the normal edition, except it's smaller, it's lighter, and you can carry it with you traveling, when you visit tailors, when you visit the houses that are featured in this book. People like to have the book with them so that they can refer to it. And it's been so far a great success. And I must admit that even the beautiful photos by my photographer that is working with us since the beginning of Parisian Gentleman, Andy Julia, that I just salute also. I don't know why I say salute. It's very Italian way of thinking. I just say hello to him because he's a great friend of us. And the photos, even in this compact edition, are very interesting. So I'm very happy. So, to sum up this part, Parisian Gentleman, my first book, in English at Thames at Hudson, almost sold out. At Interval in Paris in French, almost sold out in the original edition. And then you have a compact edition in English, which is pretty much available all around the world. That's book number 1. Then, 2 years later, we published, and I say we because my wife Sonia has been extremely important in this project, and my friend Lyle Roblin, which I say hello Lyle, who is a very important name in the sartorial world. He's a supermodel, he's a great photographer, he's a figure of the sartorial world. So we did this book together as a crazy project. That's the book I'm talking about, this one. This is The Italian Gentleman, published with the same publisher, Thames and Hudson in London. I was lucky enough to have a contract for 2 books, which is quite rare these days. And Thames and Hudson, they trusted my work, and so they said, okay, we want to work with you, but not for 1 book, for 2 books immediately, so that we can develop your name and develop also your books around the world. So we did, this book has been kind of an adventure for us. If you're following Sartorial Talks since the beginning, I think the first episode of Sartorial Talks has been dedicated to this book. So I go deep inside the chapters and all the people who are featured. But it's our take, once again, on Italian style. The first book, Parisian Gentleman, was on Parisian style, and this one is on Italian style. And believe me, trying to decipher what Italian style means, it's epic undertaking. It took us almost 3 years of travels, of visits. We visit more than 100 ateliers, from the most opulent atelier to the most literally underground atelier, literally underground atelier, and to try to put into this book what we believe was the essence of the Italian style. So you have the most famous tailors that we all know, Panico, Sabino, Dal Cuore, Rubinacci, and the likes of Pino Peluzzo, Pirozzi. I'm sorry if I forget a few names like that, but you know that we've been really working so hard to really handpick all of them, and shoemakers and tie makers and even umbrella makers, all the artisans, the shirt makers like Morol in Bologna, Anna Matozzo in Naples, Salvatore Piccolo in Naples, and even the tie maker, Calabrese, Marino, of course Marinella, probably one of the most famous Italian name in the world. So this is what you can find into this book, which is this is my study, my take on Italian style. Even the mills, the producers of fabrics are included in this book. So that's the first edition. It was published in 2017. This one is sold out around the world since 1 year. So it was not good for me as a writer because my book was not available anymore. It was published by Thames and Hudson around the world, and it was also published by Rizzoli, the famous house of Rizzoli for the USA. But they get sold out pretty quickly after 1 year. So this book was pretty much unavailable around the world for the last year. But my publisher, once again, had the good idea to publish a compact edition. Now you can see what a compact edition is. You see the difference between the two. That's the main edition, which is pretty much a lot. If you find one like that, give me a call. Because even me, I have a few copies, that's it, and it's sold out forever. Because it will not be reprinted in this size. And then we have it on the compact. You see the difference between the two? This is the compact. So it's much more, it's handier, it's easier to carry on. And what I wanted also, people don't understand, is it the same book like the Parisian Gentleman? Is it the same book as No, this one is slightly different. It's an updated version of the Italian Gentleman. So it doesn't mean that we put some more chapters just to sell more books. No, that's not our style. This is not what we want to do. But we wanted to update because we included some new names. For example, Drago, the mill in Biella that was overlooked by us in the first edition, or Davino Fiorenzo Auricchio from Naples is a great shirt maker that we overlooked also inside the first edition. And so it's an updated edition with updated chapters, a few new pictures. Maybe I would say 20% of the book is new, and it's less expensive because it's a compact edition. So that's the edition that you can find now in English at Thames and Hudson around the world, but also just published, I'm sorry, I don't have it here in my hand. I will show you on the screen by Interval, the publisher of my French work, just released a few months ago in French also at Interval. So that's the only Italian Gentleman which is now available on the market in a compact edition in French and in English. That's my book number 2. And today I have the great pleasure to show you my last book. The book which is not released at the moment I'm recording this video. It may be released at the moment you see this video, but at the moment I'm recording it, we are at the end of October, and this book is going to come in the market on the 24th of November in French first, and then very soon after, we don't know exactly, probably around January, February in English. It's a book about shoes. So, okay, you're going to tell me, I went to the compact edition, but with this one, I went to a bigger edition, actually. We decided with my photographer, Andy Julia, and my wife, Sonia Glynn, which is always around any project that we do. She's never far from me because she's important. She's my best friend, but she's also my advisor, and she knows this field very well. So we decided, the three of us, to do some kind of a new book. There's many books have been written of the technical aspect of shoes, how to make a shoe. I know that my friend Bernard Rutzel, hello Bernard, is just releasing this day a book in German, and that will be translated for sure in English, about bespoke shoes, how it is made. And I really, really respect the work of Bernard, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be a nice book. I didn't see it for the moment, so I can't tell, but I know he's doing a very serious job, and we are very, very good friends. But this book, Soulier, so as you can see, the title in French, Soulier, une passion masculine. We can translate shoes, a male passion. Which is absolutely true these days. There's a kind of a new revival. The men are getting more and more interested and fascinated by the world of shoes and shoemakers and bespoke shoemakers. And this book, for once, with Andy Julia, we had a very ambitious goal. We wanted, for the first time, to properly photograph shoes the way they should be photographed. That is to say, it's not an easy way. It's not easy to photograph shoes because a shoe is a 3D object. So You got reflection, it depends the way you light it depends the way you look at it, from which angle. So we wanted to have time. And so my publisher was very excited about this project. Said, oh wow, we're going to have shoes, coming from all around the world. I said, yes, but you have no idea what it represents. And when I just say, hello, my friends from Holo Edition, nice people, Nicolas and Philippe, there's two Nicolas that's been participating to the book, Nicolas Marseille, Nicolas Marchand, and Philippe Marchand. It's a great team. And these people, they were excited about receiving shoes from all around the world, because I found all the people that I consider, 24 shoemakers that I personally consider, we consider as the best in the world. From French, but also from France, from Japan, from Germany, from Austria, from around the world, Hungary, from Spain, from all around the world, and then Italy, of course. And then they started to receive the first, box. But when you send 10 pair of shoes or 10 shoes with the woods in it, it's very quickly, it's weight like 100 pounds or 150 pounds. And they literally received a mountain of shoes. It was only almost too big for the office. And so my photographer, Andy, did a tremendous job, taking each shoe one by one, photographing properly, lightening every shoe in the studio, and it makes this wonderful book. It's in a slipcase, as you can see that. I'm going to try to, here we go. You got it here. This is, okay. So this orange edition, it's a limited edition. At the moment I speak, I don't know if it's sold out or not. It's been selling extremely fast. We're going to put on the screen where you can order it. I think you have to write to marseille@holoedition.com. We're going to write it on the screen, or you can write to me, hugo@parisiangentleman.fr. This one has been done with this orange color, and it's a limited edition of 500 exemplary. It's written here, reserved for the people who are following us on our Parisian Gentleman website or on YouTube. So you can see a little bit the work that has been done by Andy Julia. This is just absolutely stunning. We go very far into this. So it's not a book on technical. It's not a technical book. It's just a book about the beauty of shoes, about why shoes are so interesting as an object. It's almost close to sculptures. So of this one, Soulier, you have 500 copies of this one. And once again, if you want to have your signed copy of this limited edition, you have to go to this address that we show. Once again, it's not promotional. This book is selling quite well. But I just want to let you know that it's for the moment in French, and it's going to be in English soon. And if you want to acquire it in English or pre-order it in English, same thing. Write to me, hugo@parisiangentleman.fr. We're going to put the address on the screen, and I will make sure that you'll receive your copy. So that's the limited edition. And then you have the normal edition, which is in French for the moment. So it's the same book. Sorry for the slipcase. We have to work a little bit on it. So you see, it's the same, except it's white. So it's strictly the same book. So we did a little work on that. I'm sorry, it's very heavy. Okay. That's the normal edition you can find everywhere in bookstores, and that's the limited edition that you can find only through us, writing to the two addresses that we gave to you. So I'm very proud of this book. We're very happy. The first reactions are absolutely spectacular. And why? Because not only because, as you can see, the photography are stupendous. Andy Julia did a tremendous job. But I hope the text is okay too. I can judge my own work. But on top of that, it's just an answer to a new passion that the men have for shoes. And we hope that with this book, and hopefully this is only the volume 1 of maybe a series of books we're going to do on the subject, because we wanted to pay a tribute to this artisan. You may not know, but making this kind of shoes, it takes a long time. It's a lot of blood, it's a lot of sweat, it's a lot of tears, this is a complicated job. And very few people have been taking the time to really, really give them a tribute and really give them a homage also. I know personally probably 80% of the people inside this book. I think about my friend Pierre Cortet or Stéphane Jiménez or Anthony Delos or Berluti or Norman Villalta in Spain or I don't know, so many people, Paolo Scafora, Enzo Bonafé in Italy. All these people are my friends. I've seen them. I see how it is difficult to make shoes, how it's a very... This is not a work which you are rewarded with gratitude. People, they buy an object, they don't understand what is behind. It's literally blood. It's literally people suffering, sweating on making pieces of art. And we wanted with this book to say to the world that there are incredible people making these incredible objects, which are utilitarian objects, because their first goal is to be a utility object that you walk in. But a little bit further than that, some of them, and most of them that are in this book, even the people from Tai Shoemaker in Tokyo, Yohei Fukuda, all these people from Japan, incredible people, they all not create shoes, they create unique pieces of art. And this is what this book, which is called Soulier, it's going to be called probably Shoes, very simply in English, is talking about. So, if you want to pre-reserve the book, sorry, it was reversed. Just understand it was reversed. This is live recording. So if you want to order this book in French, it's available at the address that we put now on the screen. And if you want to pre-order it in English and pre-order your copy, because we don't know how many we're going to sell worldwide, but it's going quite fast. So if you want to have the original edition, you have to write the second address I put, which is my email address, so that you can pre-order the book, and we send you a link in order for you to reserve your book. I hope that was clear. Once again, well, it's a kind of a promotion a little bit, because I wanted to, but it's more a clarification, because so many people were confused. Limited edition, French edition, compact edition, re-edition, original edition, that's complicated to understand. I hope this clarifies. So, as a summary, the Parisian Gentleman, first edition in English, big size. First edition in French, big size. Most of them sold out. If you find them, buy them, because they're going to be sold out forever. The Parisian Gentleman, so the first book, is also in compact edition, only in English for the moment. Second book, The Italian Gentleman, the big edition by Thames and Hudson and Rizzoli, sold out worldwide. If you find it, buy it, because even me, I only have 2 copies left and that's it. But it has been reprinted in a compact edition, which is available in English and in French now. So it's easy to find if you want it. And Soulier, Shoes, my last book, is available for the moment only in French. The orange cover is a limited edition of 500 exemplars. And at the moment I talk to you, I think we sold almost 400 already in a few days and weeks, so it's going very fast. So if you want to have the limited edition in French, the first print, you have to write to us. And then the normal edition, which is the same book but with a white cover in the bookstores in French. And I would say in a couple of months, 2-3 months maximum, we're going to have an English edition that you can reserve and pre-order if you want for the first print, writing to us directly. I hope that was informative for you. I hope it was clear. I hope it helped you understand what's going on around all this publishing work that we are doing with Sonia and our team. And I give you an appointment for the next episode of Tutorial Talks. Cheers!